In this video, I'm going to be going through a full install and setup, the Yokomo RPX4 Drift ESC along with their new DX2 motor, getting them all set up, installed, and then tuned and test driven to see just how good this setup is. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Troy. This is Roadside RC. You'll tend to find me bashing or crawling or drifting or racing, plus doing product review videos and how-tos. Let's get started by getting these things out of the box. Ooh, well that sure looks nice, doesn't it? We have a manual here, which will come in handy. We have some wire, fan, cap pack, and a switch. That looks really nice, actually. I love this new design of this new motor. To get the 13.5 turns, sensor port, adjustable end bell timing, all the things that you'd expect. And thankfully it does come with the sensor wire because I always forget to buy one. So really glad that they actually provided that with the motor, because otherwise I would have completely not thought about that. One of the first things I'm going to look at doing is going ahead and mounting up the motor. And now I'm not super worried about getting the pinion gear on there and worrying about gear mesh or anything like that. But what I want is an idea of how long some of the wires need to be and where I want them to route. So where's my sensor wire going to need to be, where my ABC wires are going to need to be, so I can route all of the things from the ESC appropriately. ESC is going to sit back here. This chassis provides a nice little plate, but you'll notice that none of the wires are pre-soldered onto the ESC, which means we have a lot of soldering to do, and I want to make sure how long my wires need to be here, and I want to get an idea of maybe how am I going to route my battery wires and where are those going to go and how am I going to work those. So that's what I wanted to look at, and that's why I want to get the motor mounted up here first. Step one is going to be pre-tinning all 5 of these holes. With that, we have to understand a little bit about how long our wires need to be, because I give you this, which is probably plenty. But if I just start hacking off like long lengths, then I'm really nervous I'm going to end up with not enough to get from here all the way maybe over to where the battery is. I really like it when ESCs are pre-wired with plenty of wire and then you can make it up as you go. We're going to start with this one. This is the A wire. Just trying to figure out if I wanted to make it wire down through here and then back up, if that would be cleaner. But, you know, you have to choose how you want to do it. I'm going to take the easy path here at first and just say A goes from here over to motor A. We're going to strip off both ends. And now this wire is specifically ready to go ahead and go into this A channel. You can see it's marked here, ABC. I think I am going to cheat and maybe actually put it on an angle here. I don't know. People can yell at me in the comments and tell me that's going to be wrong. But based on where this ESC is sitting, I don't really want the wire coming straight up out of it like this. It'd make the most contact here, that's true, but I think I want it to be more in like this. I think it'll make plenty of contact and it'll be more aimed towards where I want it to go. I'm going to then repeat this process for A, B, and C, making sure that you're really paying attention to which ones are which here. And then the same thing for my power positive and negative leads coming down over here to where my battery is going to be. Just like I was afraid of, not enough wire left over for my positive, so I'm gonna have to go digging through my spare parts bin in order to do it. So again, maybe this is just a warning for you. This is some 12 gauge wire. If you're getting this Yokomo ESC, you might want to consider making sure that you have some extra 12 gauge on hand. Those wires are all on there, and yes, I was able to find a red wire. That way, that positive red wire will help me make sure that I don't plug my battery in backwards, because that makes for a really sad day. We do need to wire on the capacitor that's provided as well, and that's just going to go straight onto these same locations right here. We're just going to tag them in right next to each other. Probably going to come in from the bottom in order to do so, just for like a clean wiring. Sensor wire and the fan wire are actually both here on the back of this ESC. We're going to go ahead and get them plugged in, because once we mount it, it's going to be a little bit harder to get to. Next step then is to go ahead and plug sensor wire in on this side, and it's plenty long. It's got lots and lots of distance that we're going to have to hide somewhere later. And then we get to go ahead and solder on the motor wires to the motor itself. We are almost done soldering, but we still have to hook both of these battery wires to the battery. And these have been my favorite here recently. These are some plugs from Furatech. They're a stepped 4 and 5 millimeter, so you can use them on various batteries. And then they come with these fancy little poles that'll go into the top here. So we're going to get those soldered on. Finally, the last step here is we need to hook up the fan. It plugs in right here on the front of the ESC. We're going to assume that the wires go down and Yokomo symbol goes up. And we're going to just screw this right in here to the top of the ESC. ESC to receiver wire is over here on this side, which is convenient. We're going to straighten it out a little bit, and then we're going to put it in through underneath over here next to the motor. And then that's going to give us plenty of room to get it over here to the electronic devices zone. I think our receiver should be able to mount there just beautifully. And that'll have enough room and space for it, plus being able to get the servo and everything else, the gyro and everything else hooked up to it. So we are finally ready, the ESC and motor, to give it its first power on, and then we can get it all set up and we can give it a test. For now, I'm also just leaving the motor disconnected from the car. That'll help us when we first initialize the motor, just in case it wants to take off or anything. Controller's on. We're going to go ahead, I still haven't mounted the power switch. We're going to go ahead and turn the ESC on. But what we then need to do is we need to calibrate the throttle to the car. All right, we're gonna hold this button down for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. We get the beep in the orange. We go to full throttle. When the light turns red, it saves it. We go to full reverse. And then we go back to the middle. Everything flashes. It says the ESC should be complete. I don't know how many reverse in it, but we need to check to see if that's actually just a setting in the ESC. I don't know if it comes with only forward in it from the factory. In order to make any more progress here, we need this R26P ESC programmer. Fire the ESC up. You will see it says program card, enter link ESC. So yes, we want to enter that. It recognizes that it's the RPX4. We hit the enter again, and then we can go through here. We can go through all the different settings. There's a whole bunch of different stuff that we can try. But the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go into our load save. We're actually going to tell it to load the drift. It says load setting succeeded. Press enter to send. Succeeded. Using the program card, you can easily then go in and change a whole bunch of other settings. And then I only changed, it looks like 3 items for a first test. So the first thing is the reverse function. It had the standard 2-way on it, which is really annoying. So what that means is you hit it and you have brake. And then after you've held that brake for what it said as 2.5 seconds, then you can have reverse. So you change that from the 2-way reverse function to the 2-way option 3 reverse function. That gives you the normal forward, brake, and then when you let off and you hit it again, it'll be reverse at that point. My reverse amount is at 100%. Sometimes that gets folks in trouble. I knocked mine down to 70 as a starting point. And then drag brake is a personal tuning preference. They have it set at 15% from the factory. I went ahead and just made it 0 because I don't like that. All the other settings for their standard drift, I just left it alone right now. We have some different frequency settings that we could set for both braking, motor, and drag. We also have a lot of different settings for boost and turbo that we could go through. But as of right now, I'm just going to leave it at exactly their settings because honestly, they're in the ballpark-ish of stuff that I think I would normally do. So we're just going to use that as the first drive. Initial impressions of the motor and ESC is the throttle response is great. Absolutely, as to be expected. But if I'm quiet here for a minute and just let you hear it, you'll notice it's pretty quiet. Not hearing really much of anything, pretty quiet. I'm certainly not really hearing any noises about turbo and boost. I mean, it feels like it's got good RPM to it. But, you know, and it's pretty low. This factory drift settings are pretty low turbo and boost. So obviously that's something that we can change. We can program and we can see what it's going to do. Small track like this right here, well, this feels great. When I get to a bigger track, I think adding a little bit extra turbo and boost in there for those times in which you need that hit probably be a good idea. Yeah, throttle rate, brake control, those factory drift settings in that ESC, I think, are just going to be really close. And probably good enough for most people. Easy to place the car right where I want it. Alright, let's bring it back up on the workbench and maybe play with a couple items on it. Since the car drove really good overall, I'm only going to just change a couple little things in here. So we're going to come into the boost and turbo. The second item, the boost item here, it's only 6 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that up to about 15. And so what that's going to do is through the RPM range, it's going to just increase it quicker, even down in the lower ends. Ooh. We're going to then come all the way down to the turbo settings. And it says 28 degrees, but wow, it sure didn't feel like it. So we're going to crank it up just for a test, just for giggles. 40, oh, that sounds like a lot. Everything else looks fine. So we're just going to put a little extra timing into the motor and see what it does. Start to hear that motor a little bit more now, let you know you're really getting into it. Yeah, it feels great. Adds a little bit extra snappiness to it. Obviously, that's a easy tuning item for you. But yeah, look at that. That feels awesome. I'd be pretty happy. I think as we go to the track, we're going to start right there and see how it does. Based on the initial runs, initial tuning, I've been doing some more driving that's not here on camera with it tonight. Just kind of having fun, just getting a feel for the car. It's a new chassis as well. For this motor and my overall final impressions of this motor and ESC, I think it's great. I mean, it does everything that you're going to want for a motor and ESC to do from an RC drift car. I think there's one very big, you can hear it coming already, can't you? There's one very big but at the end of that sentence, which is, it's 2026 now as I film this, and there's so much competition out there for proper ESC and motor setups. There's Macklin and there's Hobby Wing. There's even Furatech now. I'll be honest, I've tested all of those that we've listed, and they all do really, really well. And here's the biggest issue with this one is the price. So if you add up the ESC at $230, the motor at $140, and then also you have to throw in a $40 program card on top of it, because you have to. You can set throttle endpoints without it, but otherwise, if you're setting anything else, you have to have that program card. That's over $400 for this motor and ESC. That is a staggering lot. That's a lot and a lot. Maybe one of the most expensive setups I've ever put into an RC drift car. And it doesn't justify the price. That's actually the takeaway end game. If you got one and you're looking at this video just to help you set up initial tune on it, I hope I helped you out. If you are looking to get something for one of your cars, it's really hard for me to suggest this because, again, I've tested so many of them, and almost everything else that I've tested has been cheaper. I mean, let me give you an example. I tested the Furatech Pixie, which is a great little ESC, does an awesome job. The ESC alone is like $50 cheaper than the ESC here. The motor is also a little bit cheaper, but then the real kicker also that comes in is it has the little Bluetooth dongle with it. You just plug that bad boy into the side. So you get rid of that whole tuning, handheld tuner thing. And then you can do it from your app while the car is on the track. Like, it gives even additional functionality. Motor, the little one that I love. So you get even less weight where we're talking about literally over $100. And I don't know about you, but for me, having another $100 in my wallet matters. It matters a lot, actually, on most days. And And that Furatech Pixie, and that was a nano drive motor, the little one that I love. So you get even less weight where you can change and move things around, and you save $100. It's really so if you're in the market for a motor in ESC for your drift car, what I'm going to suggest is, there's a whole playlist of my drift tech stuff. Go up there, check it out, see what other options there are, because there's a lot, and I've tested a lot of them. So, go up there, see what the other options are. For this Yokomo, it's a little bit hard for me to recommend it for the price, but if you are just a Yokomo fan, if you're putting together a Yokomo chassis and you just wanted it to be top to bottom Yokomo, then I get it, because you can have everything color matching and you can have all that. Know that you're paying that extra $100-ish bucks that you didn't have to necessarily otherwise pay, but you're going to be getting a great proven setup that'll last you probably basically your whole RC drifting career, unless you get into something just really wild. And so I think it's a very solid setup that a lot of people can have, but I think there's cheaper options that work just as well. So if you have any questions about this, leave them down in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. Next up for me is to get this car on track, and so I'm going to give this motor an ESC some more runtime and see how it does. If you are interested in it, I'll have a link to it down in the video description where you can buy it. Otherwise, like I said, I suggest going and checking out that playlist and seeing what other ESC and motor options are there. If you just want me to directly answer you based on my latest knowledge and experience, shoot me a comment down below and I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.